My main job is to work with enterprises, actually all over the world, to figure out what does this AI thing mean for you? Because while all of you are working on models and models, very important things, most enterprise leaders have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. So demystifying and destigmatizing is part of all of our job, and I think that's where the magic of all of you lie. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Donna. And then, Paige, you just introduce yourself, but again.
My name is Paige. I'm really excited to be here today and to get to talk with all of y'all and to learn from all of you and how you're using AI in all of your companies out in the world. I'm the engineering lead for our developer relations team at Google DeepMind, which is relatively new. And before that, I was one of the model building folks associated with Prompt 2 Gemini models.
Welcome. Thank you all. All right, to kick things off, let's address the elephant in the room and start with you, Umi. So from art to reality, your experience at Home Depot, what has been the most significant shift in how AI is perceived and implemented within your organization over the past few years?
Biggest shift. So I'm going to go back to the days that when you're here, delivering most of the work and pushing the boundaries for AI. And as you know, we have some great success in AI deployment in search. So e-commerce, we built search. We actually leverage Google, as a great partner for us to solve the long tail search relevancy problems. And as Khalifa was there, actually pushing, we need to build our own customer model because we have the data, we have the customer, we have also the merchant and suppliers telling us what is the customer experience that's right for any DIYers or our pros. So we had all of these new cutting edge search technologies deployed, the algorithms and the platforms. That was a great example, I would call it a vertical AI solutions. In the e-commerce space, specifically in search, we have a lot of recommendation algorithms that we developed in each of the verticals, supply chain, merchandising, assortment and pricing. Each of the vertical has their own data science solutions. And I think the direction that we're moving towards, the change is starting to show, but it hasn't, I would call it probably from an enterprise perspective, is to change from a vertical solution to more integrated enterprise solution because of the number of the sheer volume of the data that we have is good in the past to solve the vertical solutions. Now we see the possibility of merging all of the data together to potentially solve each of the vertical solutions better. Search, what if we understand the supply chain, the logic, and the merchandising, assortment logic, the pricing logic, we can provide better solution, better recommendation. If you all you shop Home Depot, wouldn't you want your search become instead of a search term, it's become a problem solving? And you have this crab grass that I wanted to put this in early spring. When do I put it? What type of grass do I have? Instead of searching that particular search term of asking Home Depot, you could ask a question. This is a problem I want to solve. I want to get my 20-year-old house repainted. And all of that problem solving could be allowed to happen.
Great. So you highlighted deploying successfully search powered by AI into production.
Your project.
She's a game changer. Thank you for still giving me credit for that. But now, to build on that, most of the enterprises actually reported recently that they kind of don't see the value of AI that they expected, right? And I think to some extent that probably come back to the how of AI implementation and the foundation and the strategic decision that has been made over time. So at Home Depot, what were some of the key strategic decisions or foundation elements that you put in place to ensure successful adoption of AI?
Yeah, I want to emphasize on the first observation you made is, I don't know whether, maybe I'll ask the question, it's kind of blank, I can't see the audience. How many of you have deployed or tested your company or your client.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's roughly 1/3. How many of you have deployed at scale GenAI solutions?
Fewer. Way fewer.
How many have failed and switched directions and
Yeah.
only,
Come on.
only a few brave heads?
As Chip said, come on, let's be more honest here. Come on, raise your hand. Alright, we will not tell your boss.
It's actually surprising when the failed heads is actually less than the deployed heads. So you guys, when you deployed, you didn't fail before. That was amazing. That's amazing. Kudos to you. It's not, I can say that the biggest change that we actually allow our company, our leaders to see is we can move a lot faster compared to the traditional AI deployment. In the past, talking about the search, that was actually amazing speed. We were able to deploy with a needle moving, capability. This is double-digit $1 million of incrementality with a change in the algorithm deployment within 6 months, and that's record-breaking, at least within Home Depot. I think it's in general with a scale like us. We were able to do a lot faster with the Gen AI, capabilities because it's not starting from scratch. We're building on the giants of the other partners, Google and Microsoft and others. Were to do it faster. We actually failed faster too. We tested a handful of times. I don't know whether Jin or someone in her team is here. She's going to give a talk, probably talking more about the journeys in the afternoon, so feel free, or please go there to listen. It's a fantastic story. We failed multiple times before we were able to deploy at scale, but we were really proud that we were able to deploy at scale, which not a lot of companies were able to do, mainly because we don't want to, for example, the website, we deployed a question answering capability in real time for our customer. Now you can go on to 3 million product pages. You can ask a question, does this dishwasher quiet? How many drawers is that? Can I replace the racks? And other questions you may have on the product. We have hundreds of millions of product questions on the website, which usually takes longer than, I would say, just a few seconds to be answered. The SLA is 2 days. But if you have a good refrigerator, I don't think you can wait for 2 days. So this capability was really convenient for the customer. Even for that, we think this is a must-have, right? No-brainer. If you can bring it's a rack-based implementation. You can bring that information out to the customer with a product authority. But in the first few times, customer doesn't, from a conversion perspective, from a revenue perspective, is not showing on the book, right? And I've talked to many of my peers in the industry. They've seen the same thing because their web experience is extremely optimized, and when you place one thing on top of other things, that other things is less performing. And whether it's hitting on the basket size or the conversion, the customer's not telling you, I like it, or it's not helping me to convert within that session. I may be loving the capability and they're not distracted, or I'm loving the capability and tell me I shouldn't be buying this product. It took us a few iterations to get there, but it's because of the iteration is really fast. You don't feel like it actually feels like you could benefit the business and customer faster.
Yes, and I think introducing new experiences to customers takes the customer's time to adapt to the new experiences, and that's it, right? So
that's sorry, just on that, the customer it's not one customer, but the customer in this room probably have very different. We are all AI forward, and our customer base has a mix of feelings about AI. So there's a very different need and adoption rate.
yeah. Thank you. Now, Paige, with the rapid advancement of generative AI and large language models, and given that you work at the forefront of this domain, the question is, what potential applications or disruptions are you most excited about or concerned about? Let's start with that.
Gotcha. Spicy question.
Yeah.
An excellent question. question. I really do feel like as a software engineer and as a data scientist, I can't not be excited about AI as applied to those domains, especially how it's been accelerating everything that we do about how we build software at Google. So as an example, for folks who might not be aware, at Google we have something like 100,000 software engineers. We've deployed AI into the software development lifecycle for every single one. Everything from code generation to help with things like code review, to help with kind of performance optimization for code. And Sundar mentioned last year that 25% of the code checked in each week is now generated by AI at Google. And this year it's significantly more. I don't think I can share the exact percentage, but it is a large amount of the code that each software engineer checks in each week is generated by AI. That means that we're all building much faster, but also a lot of these ideas that folks would have never been able to get out. They might have been able to get 80% of the way there, but not be able to get that last 20% solved. Suddenly we're seeing all of these things get released into the world. So it's a huge opportunity. Like myself personally, I've always wanted to create like 3D computer games. I could do text adventures, but I couldn't do like the 2D platformers or 3D games. Was never able to do it before generative AI, and now I have a cron job that sends me a new 2D platformer game every morning to play. And again, all of this just automated and feels very magical. So that's like the positive side, like accelerating software development, helping people build, be more creative, those sorts of things. On the concerns side, kind of to your point, I think like the AI literacy is a huge problem. Many people who aren't kind of investing time and energy like y'all are in learning about AI and learning how it can be applied to their business and to their daily life. The gap is just getting wider and wider every couple of weeks as these new models come out. And so I think both as companies, as we all have our businesses, we need to invest significantly more in helping make sure that everybody is being lifted up and has the tooling that they need and the understanding they need in order to be successful. And then also I hope just at kind of a national and a global scale, we invest a lot in AI literacy for the whole world. Like certainly in K-12 education and as folks enter into the workforce.
Wow. So significant transformation happening across the industry. The question is, how should enterprises prepare to adapt?
Well, AI literacy, I think that's one of the best things that anybody could do is understand where the models are and how you could incorporate them into your businesses. And then also, expect that it's going to be a trial and error process. You're probably, you're going to try something, it might not be the right thing the first time, and that's okay. It's never been easier to keep, rapid prototyping and iterating until you find meaningful ways to sort of get AI into your systems and help it run. And always, you can start with one small application before scaling out to your full business. You don't have to try everything all at once. It's much better to introduce it in one place, really test it out and build understanding and center of excellence for your business, and then expand out.
Makes sense. So now, Donna, looking at you, how do you see AI transforming the competitive landscape within your industry in the next 3 to 5 years?
That is a loaded question. Okay, so first of all, I just moved, and you know what that means, Home Depot every day. And I would like to tell you that your search thing is dang good, okay? It's dang good. Yes, thank you. Because moving and not knowing half the words you need,
Yes.
right? It's my Windows installed wrong. I need a flasher, what is that word, right? The search is really good. Finding the right main color, the right thing to seal a window, these are not normal words, so thank you very much, because it helps destigmatize, demystify a lot of these things into a hard to understand, normal people understand, so yay, that's great. But to your question, what are companies, what should they do to stand out competitively in the the next 3 to 5 years. And Paige, you know, I can't say enough about the AI skilling work you do. And Paige has been doing this for decades. She didn't start yesterday. She actually skilled me in AI back in 2015 when we worked together.
And you skilled me in C++.
That's true. We got to quite a conversation about it. But I'll tell you, probably the biggest issue we're seeing is AI adoption across the board. And part of it is because we, as a tech industry, not all of us, but a small subset, have overhyped AI to a point where they're saying, tomorrow generative AI is going to reduce the cost of name X thing, customer service is probably everyone's favorite, but to 0% effort, you're going to slash 99% of the cost. You need 0 real-life humans, and your agents are going to solve them all. Now, every company who believed it and bought into it has failed horribly. Right? 100% of them have failed horribly. Customers have quit the service. They've written like mean notes, and there's thousands of examples of, you know, Alaska Airlines having to, or Air Canada having to give refunds. Someone selling a Land Rover for $1. There's been so many examples of this. So now enterprise leaders are saying, actually, we're afraid. So they're almost backing off from the whole thing. So I've seen nothing but a lot of sandbox projects going on, but very few actually deploy to the enterprise. Because they're saying, oh, the sandbox product didn't work completely 100% of the time, therefore we're not ready. But we're forgetting that nothing ever worked the first time. In the history of the world, nothing has ever worked. When we moved from desktop to internet, internet to mobile, mobile to cloud, cloud to mobile, this didn't go well the first time either. The only way was to get people's hands on it. So the companies that are going to win are the ones who adopt the sometimes you win, sometimes you learn strategy and say, you know, let's mark that as a learn. What have we learned from it, and how can we win next time? But the ones who opt out of the game are not going to win. So that's probably the biggest differentiator. The ones who try a lot of things. People doing 100 AI experiments are going to get 25 wins. They just are. The ones who do one experiment and bet the entire farm on it and it doesn't work, they're going to probably get 1 or 0 wins. Less than.
True. This is great. And I think you mentioned something important, which is like, oh, we're going to remove the human from the loop totally with the automation. I don't think we're there or we used to be there. So, right? Even in the next 3 to 5 years, I don't know if we're going to be there. But this is kind of one of the dangerous promises, which I don't know, like people always hear about AI, that, oh, human, it's not going to be in the loop anymore, which is, I don't think it's.
So I'll just tell you, we all know this, people hate talking to machines. They hate it, because even out to the States, like, hey, do you want to talk to an automated agent? We're trying to book a flight with Delta Airlines. I'm like, absolutely no.
Oh,
They'll get 0 if you want to talk to a human. 0, 0, 0. Just be connected. You've never met anyone who chooses to talk to the machine unless it's a very simple question, rather than just talking to a human. We're not going to change our nature, because we just want to speak in natural language, have a back and forth conversation, and be understood, rather than trying to optimize our customer experience.
And I love this concept of AI as something that empowers humans and can accelerate them in their work. Like one of the most exciting projects at DeepMind is something called the AI Co-Scientist, which is a multi-agent system. We tested it out with some of the scientists, both internally and externally, who are working in the biosciences. And what they do is they go to the kind of the agent fleet. They say, I have a hypothesis. I want to test it. Could you please help me design a few experiments that could help with this work? The AI agents kind of like having a fleet of grad students, right? It's like you get to write the code, find the data, or kind of clean the data, run the experiment, summarize the analysis, and then bring it back to the overall researcher, so that they could be able to do that, in a matter of a week or even in a couple of days, as opposed to having all of that work take on the order of years. And so those kinds of things, like they're still very much a human needed to be in the loop. But it's more of a partnership and kind of giving people the ability to scale out all of the ideas that they've always wanted to try, as opposed to being limited by time or limited by the ability that they have to kind of write code and execute it themselves.
Yeah, I just want to say it's so critical to make sure that everyone is on board if you're in a company to transform the business, because every role is having to be redefined, not necessarily eliminated. some function of that role is going to be eliminated, which actually turns the social experience becomes better, right? If it's a call center agent, instead of actually getting the calls from morning to night, doing everything, accessing, using probably 50 different tools, now you can use the agent to do those, whether it's order updates, order checking, any of these functional tools could be replaced, but then the social will be doing the next level of the work. If it's a merchant or product development team, they could actually do research much easier. They could launch, create a new seeding plan, create a new, whatever power tool product, but they can launch that research much easier. So the role is going to be empowered. It's going to be, you can do 10x of the things, 100x of the things. Slightly different. You have your own team. Your team is AI agents, right? That may not be. So you'll be working with your AI teammates or AI associates.
One of the things when I was growing up that my grandmother used to always say is that the worst thing that you could do to a person is waste their time. And that's one of the things that I really love about AI being applied to everything that we do now is it feels like we're getting our time back.
Right. It's
Ain't that the truth?
right? Human and AI. So this is a good segue to the last question of this panel, which is if you would give one piece of advice to the executives of Fortune 500 who are about to embark on the AI journey, or they would like to scale up their AI initiatives, what would be that advice?
So I agree with Donna wholeheartedly. Like one of the best things that you could possibly do is give your employees access to the tools that exist today. So whether it's models, whether it's kind of the ability to experiment and test out on your own internal data in a sandbox, and invest in educating them. Because I guarantee if you do those two things, they will come up with ideas more than you could have ever imagined of how AI could be applied to the business. Trust your people, and if you invest in kind of their intuition and kind of the deep expertise that they built over time and all of these things that could be automated, you will have really, really exciting results pretty quickly.
I actually boss them a little bit and make them do this, which is demo day every 2 weeks. C-suite goes first. Demo how they use AI in their business, in their day-to-day. I don't want to hear, I use it to make chairs at home. No, I want to see how you use it in your job. C-suite first. CFO day 1, CTO day 2, C-suite first. Don't talk exactly. Don't talk about how important AI is. Show it.
Walk the walk.
Exactly, and C-suite have to show, I tried these did not work, I tried this did work, what did you do? This was awesome.
So you want them to be hands-on. Yeah. Okay.
I love it. I think just on your point, I've seen companies have requirements. You have to do at least one thing within the day using AI as a sort of like a requirement. But it's truly, I had trainings and introduced the co-founder trainings for our leadership, and then opens their eyes, right? They don't need to listen to their team. This is how their team is transformed. They have the experience themselves totally. My advice would be for the leaders to think about the applications, capabilities to be deployed as if the technology is already here. There's a lot of the technology that is already here. But usually, I'll just speak for Home Depot. When we deploy a technology, if it's in physical stores, it's typically, I would call it multiple quarters. That multiple could be double-digit quarters. How long, basically, when I get to all of our stores, it could be 2 years late, right? 2 years after technology is basically 2 years old. So we need to plan for as if the technology is already here. We are deploying the technology that is 6 months from now, and you'll see the speed of the technology moving so fast in a number of weeks or days. So plan as if the technology is already here, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months ahead.
Great. Thank you all for the advice. I would like to now to turn to the audience and see if anyone has a question.
Wait, there's one. Oh, bummer. What? He fired.
All right, with that, then we'll close the panel. Thank you all. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
Yay.
Absolutely go right ahead. Mark saying absolutely not. At least we know that we have our speakers here, so if you have a question, you can absolutely grab them. Fantastic presentation a while ago. I absolutely agree with the demo day every Tuesdays, because we have a lot of C-suite who tell us that we need to know AI, but they actually don't use it. So I thought that was absolutely fantastic. We have our global online hackathon that is taking place. Building agentic AI workflows. It started from the 9th. It goes on to the 15th. It's powered by transversal.ai. You can go to the website, click on hackathon. You can still register. You can still participate, and naturally we look forward to getting all of the results. Right now we break for coffee. Head to the exhibitors area. You have all of your exhibitors there. And please be aware at 10:45 we start our breakout sessions in rooms A, B, C, D, and of course E. So please consult those